Present.
President Council Lozey, yes.
Okay, so thank everybody for coming. And again, the reason why we're having this meeting is from time to time, I want to try to have some meetings to keep people updated. I get a lot of questions about what's going on, on the waterfront and Lynn Way. And there's some good things happening, and people have questions. And I just thought it would be good for us, every now and then, occasionally, to get together and get an update on what's going on. And Jim Cowdell has offered to give a presentation, and after the presentation, if we have questions, we'll try to answer them. And hopefully this will be an informative meeting where people can learn about what's going on, and we'll take it from there. So, Jim,
thank you. Well, first of all, welcome and thank you for coming down on a Tuesday night. Time my back. We'll hit the lights, I guess, and maybe we can see the screen. Yeah. Let's see if this.
There you go.
I'll just do it. All right, so we're going to talk about two subjects, the downtown and the waterfront. So we'll start with the downtown. And I think it's really important to take a look backwards before we start to look ahead. And we're going to talk about the identity of the downtown, why arts and culture is important, and more importantly, where do we go from here. So people my age and older, that's the downtown that we remember. It was destination shopping. You had all of the stores, Warner, Bowers and Sanborn, T.W. Rogers, the movie theaters. The Warner Theater was right there. I remember 1971 seeing Planet of the Apes right there. 2 movies for 75 cents. Anyways, that was the downtown. People came from all over to see downtown Lynn, to shop. This is looking up Union Street. And if you can remember those stores, Werner was a big one. I think Brooks was right there. So that was the downtown that I grew up in. And then a couple of things happened. In 1981, there was a great fire, right? I remember Ted Koppel on Nightline saying, the city of Lynn is burning. I mean, it was a huge fire, and it affected a large part of what we refer to of the downtown. This is looking at really North Shore Community College today, and that was where there was a shoe factory. I don't know if anybody in the room remembers the Brzezinski's, but there was a bunch of stores in that area. That whole couple of blocks of the downtown was destroyed in 1981. So that happened, and then mid to late 70s, the mall started popping up. North Shore Mall was made, Liberty Tree Mall, and that definitely impacted the stores that were in the downtown Lynn. So the city of Lynn said, well, if the malls is the future, then we've got the answer. We'll build our own mall. And I don't know how many in this room remember making Union Street, they created a mall, a pedestrian mall. They blocked off the street, and they created a pedestrian mall. And the interesting part of this picture, this is looking towards Central Square down Union Street. Every one of those stores went out of business. And for the longest time, we were the only city in the country that had a McDonald's go out of business. So this was a horrible reaction by the city, and it was a reaction that was trying to attract the people that we lost from the malls that were being built. So now today we have a new philosophy. 2003, the city council rezoned the downtown. We wanted to have residents living in the downtown, right? We had a bunch of these old industrial buildings that were shoe factories. They were empty. We wanted to have people living in those buildings. So we rezoned it. First floor had to be commercial and retail, and everything else should be residential. We had a goal of 500. If you can think back to 2004, 2005, we had unprecedented development in the downtown, people moving into the downtown, and then the recession hit. So we hit about halfway of our goal, about 250 people moved into the downtown. Today, the healthcare expanded. They brought in 100 new jobs. That's on Union Street. The Visiting Nurses Association We almost lost them, they're gonna move outside of the city. Now we have a beautiful building, it's a gateway. That was 100 jobs as well. The auditorium now is year-round, it has air conditioning. We have all kinds of top backs. It brings people, a lot of people, the majority of people that come here come from outside of Lynn, and they have a great positive experience, so that's important. We have restaurants such as the Blue Ox, Rossetti's. If you haven't tried that, I highly recommend it. We also have Dimichi. So all of a sudden, in the last really year and a half, we have all these restaurants popping up. But that's because the Blue Ox was successful. So the Rossetti's came in. Rossetti's, I think you saw in the item a week or so, got a national award. So they're really doing well here. And then, of course, we have the condos that came in, and that's the Boston Lofts. This is Mount Vernon Street down by the item where they expanded. There's almost 50 residents living there. Primarily, people that bought condos, about 95% of them bought from outside of Lynn. They weren't Lynn residents. They were folks usually working in Boston, but working outside of Lynn, couldn't afford the Boston market, and they bought here. They've been a great addition to the downtown. Simmons is a business kind of like the old days, where people come from all over to shop at Simmons. Capital Diner, similar type of situation. Lynn people, but people from the area come and eat at the diner. And now we have a new arts and cultural district. This is the Lynn Arts, and that's the mural that was built on the side of the building. The district, only 5 cities and towns in the entire state got this designation. Lynn was one of them. This is the district. It includes the GAR, the museum, Lynn Arts, Arts After Hours. Its whole idea is to bring people into the downtown. We hired our first ever director of the Arts and Cultural District, so you'll be hearing much more of this. I put this up here as a discussion point maybe later. The traffic patterns of downtown, you know, on Market Street, you have one-ways kind of branching off. There seriously is no rhyme or reason as to why they go as they are. It was created in 1971, it was called Scheme J. It's the traffic pattern that exists today. So the traffic pattern, you know, the one-way streets, they were designed in 1971. So, and this is an area and there really is no reason as to why they go in the directions that they go in. So the City Council asked EDIC to hire a consultant to do a study, which we did. There's a bunch of recommendations that they've made, the City Council is digesting them. So you'll be hearing more about this. But really, the second point is key, and Tasso is here, he's chairperson of the Off-Street Parking Commission. Parking is a serious issue. You know, we talk about the growth that we have. You can't talk about economic development and growth without talking about parking. So it's really becoming an issue that's being brought to the forefront. So you'll be hearing more about that as we move forward. This is, when I was a kid, this was Arnold Stationery in Central Square. EDIC owns the building. Rehab has started. It will be 8 artist lofts that will be put in there. And then the first floor, we're not sure what it will be yet. It'll be some type of commercial retail and it'll tie into the Arts and Cultural District. So that is a 10-month project. It started 2 weeks ago. This is just kind of the future of downtown. We feel that there's still room for growth with the restaurants. This is a store on Oxford Street. RF O'Sullivan, if you want to look them up, they're very successful in Somerville. They have a loyal following. They're coming to downtown Lynn, about a minute's walk from here where the Kevin's Bar and Cultural Center used to be. City Council took that over for tax purposes, put it out to bid, and they were the high bidder. So we're looking forward to add them. Again, it's something that brings people into the downtown. That was my quick version of the downtown. I wanted to talk about the waterfront. So 5 years ago, we had a lot of fun. When you come into our city from Revere and you look to the right, there's really nothing there. My entire life that I've been a resident of Lynn here, it's never been developed. It's weeds, and we can do better than that. There were power lines that literally were 10 feet away from the coast, so it prevented development from happening. About 4.5, 5 years ago, the City Council and the Mayor, we moved the power lines to the other side of the Linway, so we removed that obstacle. We rezoned it, 5 years ago, sorry, 5 years ago it was zoned for this. Used cars, restaurants, dollar stores, etc. And there really wasn't a lot of vision, there was definitely no excitement, and there was no buzz regarding that, the development of the waterfront. And when you think about waterfront development, now this is Marina Bay, and you can see that there's mixed use in the back, there's luxury homes, there's a marina, there's a boardwalk for the public to use. That's an active and healthy waterfront. So now you think about Lynn's waterfront, we've got to be the only place where there's a Kentucky Fried Chicken where if we all moved right now and stood on the roof, you'd have a great view of the Atlantic Ocean. We're definitely the only city in the country that has a Walmart on the water, right? And we're absolutely the only place that has a dollar store on the water. So today we have a vision. We have a waterfront master plan. It was approved by the mayor and the city council. It determines usage and height restrictions. So now we know what we want on the waterfront, and we've made that by right development. This document is not like a 1 year or 2 year document. It's supposed to guide the city for the next 20 to 25 years. We had 19 public meetings similar to this where we said, okay, clean slate, what do you want on our waterfront? We had 19 public meetings, and it was with the public's input that we developed this master plan. So today, we definitely have a vision. We have a master plan. We have a municipal harbor plan, which is the document that gets approved by the state. We moved the power lines. We changed the zoning. Councilor Crichton sponsored 43D, which is it's an expedited state permitting process. So if we wanted to develop something, we need city and state permitting. So this will make it fast track at the state level. And I think everybody's talking about the waterfront now. The yellow is where the power lines were, and you can see wherever the yellow is, there's no development, right? Because there were power lines there. The red is where the power lines are now. So we have removed the obstacle. Lawson Street, so this is where the commuter ferry is 5 years ago. That's what was there. It definitely wasn't used. Weeds were as high as me. We came up with a plan for a large parking lot and then the docking for the ferry. I'm glad to say that the ferry is up and running. So if you work in Boston and live in this area, you have that for an option, or you have that for an option. And that's actually our goal. And so the ferry opened, in May, what was the date, May 19th? So May 19th was the first ferry launch. Every week that it's been in the water, it's been more and more passengers. So we feel that it's been a success. And so now this is what we want to put there. So we have the boat. So now we want to put a 2-story terminal there. The first floor would be for the commuters, so there'd be a snack shop, you could grab your paper, coffee. And then the second floor would be a restaurant. And it would be a type of restaurant, and I just want to, like say, illegal seafood, that type of a restaurant. So now you've taken an area that was completely desolate, that was abandoned, you have a commuter ferry there, and now you have a terminal. It changes that whole area. And if you look at what happened in Hingham, where they put a commuter ferry, and economic development happened all around. So we are hoping that the same can happen here. We're applying on August 15th for a $3 million grant from the state to build this. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and keep everybody updated as we go forward. That's the side view. Today's waterfront, the marina, community development received $1 million grant. The floats are done, the piles are done. We're trying to get a breakwater there to protect the marina. They also got a feasibility grant for further dredging to be done. Kettle Cuisine is coming here from Chelsea. They're opening in September. They're about 5 weeks away. They're bringing 110 jobs with them, and they're creating 100 new jobs. It's a beautiful building. It's huge. It's about 200,000 square feet. And they're partnering with both Lynn Tech and North Shore Community College. And again, this is the gateway. That brought 100 jobs. This is the Beacon Chevrolet site that's been vacant for a few years. It's under an agreement. We're keeping our fingers crossed that that development happens. There's a plan there for mixed use. We, being the city council, the EDIC and the mayor, fully support this project. Now this is an aerial view, and I just want to point it out. This here is the gear plant from GE. 60 acres This was taken 2 years ago. That building no longer exists. It's torn down. This is a train, this is the train, the commuter line. There's a stop right there, right by the gear plant. So we've been pressuring GE to sell. It's under agreement. So again, keeping our fingers crossed. This is 60 acres. It's on the water. It has a train stop. We want mixed use there. So you can imagine, you could build by right in the new laws by up to 20 stories high. You could have people living there, working in Boston, hopping on the train that would stop at their front door and going into Boston. It really is an exciting time. So with that under agreement, and the Beacon site hopefully under agreement, those are two key projects. Now again, this is the same area. Revere is to the south. This is all along the water. All of that land is owned by National Grid. We're working with them. They don't need that land now. It was there because the power lines were there. We'd like them to give it to the city, sell it to us for say $1. But we would like that land so that we could then put it out and try to sell it. North Shore Community College. This is an aerial to the left of the college, heading as a wedge between Market and Broad. They will be getting their expansion soon, within the next couple of months. So they are expanding. They are expanding in Lynn. That campus is busting at the seams. We feel that it's great. It's a great addition to the city. So we're working with them on that addition. They hired Sasaki, which was the same group that we used to develop our master waterfront plan. So this is Suffolk. This is the an artist rendering of Suffolk. We don't know what's going to happen, whether or not Suffolk will get the casino license. But if it does get it, we're prepared. We're meeting with Suffolk. They negotiated a fee that we'll get annually. We're worried about the traffic. We're working with them on that. But the person who is the principal owner of Suffolk Downs owns this piece of land here in Lynn. So we're really working with him closely. We feel that if he's waiting to see if he gets the license and if the referendum is approved in November. If both of those things happen, we think he would put a high-rise hotel there. So that would be really a whole different, if you can just imagine for a second, coming into our city and on the right having a hotel, and on the left, the gear plant site, having 20 stories of mixed use. The first floor retail, a marina there, it changes the whole landscape of the city, right? And just anything, as you're coming into the city on the Linway, anything on the waterfront side, we're really strict and adamant about following the waterfront master plan. So if a developer comes to us and says, hey, I really want to put a Taco Bell over here, the answer's going to be quick no. We want mixed use there, we want to develop it, we want to bring the public down so that the public can enjoy the ocean. That part of the waterfront has never been developed. We've got one shot to develop it, and we want to do it right. So it's a key part of the whole equation. And that's just an artist rendering of, so the Linway would be above, and that's just an artist rendering of what could, we zoned it so that could be there. And wouldn't that make a difference to the gateway coming into the city of Lynn? So that was as quickly as I can speak. If you have any questions?
Yeah, so I hope that was helpful. If people have questions, you can ask them now. If people think it was helpful, just to add a couple things, I don't know, how much people want to know, but the gear plant that Jim was talking about, 65 acres or 61 acres, that passed a couple of key votes, in the city, on the planning board it passed, and also at the Board of Appeals. So it looks like that could happen, and that's a major piece of property. It's actually, I believe, bigger than where the proposed casino is going. And there are people interested in that property. Dave?
Yeah, I thought Jim gave an excellent presentation. I just want to compliment Jim on the presentation. It was excellent. Being a stakeholder on a particular piece of property, we get a number of inquiries from different industries, and basically the question is, has EDIC or the town done any kind of feasibility studies to indicate what is necessary other than the master plan? I mean, somebody who was interested in a boutique hotel said that you can't go into a bank and say, I believe that a hotel is going to succeed. There has to be some sort of feasibility study that shows that there's a need and you can fill a certain amount of room keys or whatever. And I just wondered if in any particular type of industries, do we have any feasibility studies that show that there is a need for a particular development as opposed to just a supposition?
The only document that the city has, which is an official document, is the waterfront master plan. We don't have a feasibility studies on a specific, let's say the hotel industry. I don't have a specific study.
Does your office have any references? I mean, if somebody was to come in, do you point them in any direction, or would there be any kind of shared expense? Because I know that they're not inexpensive to have these kind of studies done.
Yeah, I mean, our job, Dave, as you know, is EDIC's job is to get businesses to come to Lynn. So whatever we can do to help make a deal happen, we would do it. Whether you're talking about, you know, a $20,000 investment, or if you're talking about a $20 million investment, no different. So whatever it takes to get a deal done, to get, say, a large hotel to come to Lynn, we absolutely would invest in that.
What are you going to do about cleaning up the dump and the used car lots and everything as you come into Lynn? It's ugly.
Yeah.
I come in from Boston 4 days a week, and it's not a pretty sight to see cheap places and used car lots and things like that. I remember the old 7 movie theaters, and it was gorgeous. We had Brooks, we had Empire, all those stores. What are you going to do about bringing in good business for people to shop, good stores?
Well, your first point, couldn't agree with you more regarding the Linway and, you know, the used car. Now, not to say, you know, if there's anybody here from the used car, from the car industry, they're important, they pay taxes and so forth. On the waterfront side, right, of the Linway,
Yeah.
that's not what we want. Now, that's not to say we're going to go down with a bulldozer and bulldoze Kelly Hunt. That's not what we're saying. But the next development that occurs, that's not going to go there. So there's not going to be a new car dealership on a place that there isn't one now. There's not going to be a new fast food place. So the city has said, okay, we want to go in a different direction. So we have brand new zoning in place, saying what we want. We want a hotel on the Linway, we want mixed use, we want a boardwalk. Similar to Lynn Shore Drive. You know Lynn Shore Drive, the beautiful boardwalk? Wouldn't it be nice from the GE Bridge to have a boardwalk that would connect all the way down to the NBC Road? You know, that's our vision, that's what we want. So any development that occurs along the waterfront, they have to put in a boardwalk. So it will change, but the biggest thing has to happen is we, meaning city government, has to change how we look at our city, you know? What you're talking about, you and I both remember the downtown where people came from all over. We want to have those types of businesses in the downtown that bring people in, like a Simmons, you know? People come from all over to shop. So.
You have a code that the storefronts have to look decent and, you know, things like
Facade.
it has to look very nice and settle in with the rest of the city. I mean, if you just let people do what they want, it can look junky.
We agree. And there is a facade program that the city has, so if you, ma'am, opened up a business, you'd be eligible up to $4,000 to get a grant, not a loan, to put a nice sign up, and the city would pay for it. So, yeah.
Just to add, Dave, on the feasibility studies, as you probably know too, a lot of the companies that are, people that are contacted about relocating or coming to Lynn do their own feasibility studies before they decide whether they want to come here or not. And, you know, so, and, you know, if they don't, Jimmy's department and us do all we can to try to promote the city, you know. So, for instance, Starbucks wants to, they want to come to Lynn now. They're going to be, on the end of the Linway, they wanted to drive through. They're now coming back based on people prodding them for a full service Starbucks, you know. In a couple of weeks, they'll be coming here for permission to do that. But they made their initial assessment based on feasibility studies that they did, and based on people reaching out to them, and that happens with a number of different companies, you know, we don't want to name, but, you know, so it does happen, you know, at that level. I mean,
I just want to make a comment. I think this is wonderful that you have this vision and you're working towards it. I know it's going to take a lot of time. It's not just the city, it's the developers, it's the outside businesses and the people and the economy, there are all kinds of factors, but I think you guys should be really commended for doing what you're doing.
A lot of it is perception. You know, when we came up with the ferry idea, and that took 7 years, from the moment we started planning to the boat going in the water, and 95% of the people we ran into said it would never work, you know. Today, about 85% of the people that use the ferry are not Lynn residents. They come from Swampscott, they come from Marblehead, they come from Nahat. And they park there. Since it's been open, there's not been one issue with security, not one issue. So those people, the reason why the numbers are going up every week is they're going home, and they're telling their neighbors, and they're telling their friends, and so the numbers are building.
How many people are using the ferry?
Yeah, so it's averaging somewhere around 800 in that ballpark per week now.
At a day?
No, per week. It's about, I think it's 190 per day, roughly. Those are rough numbers. When we started, it was 70, and now it's up to about 190.
So if it makes so much sense to build a restaurant there, and you're talking about potentially getting a grant from the state to do that, wouldn't you be smarter to get some private investors to do
Yes.
that idea?
Yep, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I don't think I explained myself well. So what we would do is, we would build out the first floor, and then we would build the shell, and then whoever the restaurant is, they would pay for the entire build out of the second floor, and then lease to us. So it would be a private-public partnership.
Yes, what, as a business owner, property owner, what incentives would you be giving new business to come in tax-wise?
Sure.
City of Lynn has the highest tax rate. Scares people away.
Yeah, and so Kettle Cuisine, for instance, they brought 100 jobs. We offered them a TIF, which is a tax incentive. It's a state program. City council voted on it. So that's a tax deferment program. So that's a weapon that we have, and it's really the only program. When you talk about tax relief, that's really the only type of a tax relief program that is available today for any city.
If you're going to attract big business, big development, you've got to give them some kind of an incentive to come and spend their money here.
Yep.
You make it, because what happens is the tax makes it so prohibitive to turn a profit that the incentive isn't there.
Yes. So I'm a big proponent of what you're saying. The TIF is a program that's available. I don't think we use it enough. I think it's a great tool or weapon to attract new businesses. We've done Willow Labs, we've done Kettle Cuisine, Demici's was a TIF, and that brought in Rossetti's. Those have been the recent ones that we've done. I think we should do more. It's funny though, you would think, and you and I think alike, that taxes would be like at the top of the list. When we meet with developers, it's on the list, but I'm telling you, it's somewhere here. It's really not. They look at other things. They look at transportation, public transportation, secure safety. It's on the list, and I think it's an important.
What the developer is flipping it.
Yes.
They're flipping it. So it's the guy that's going to be the ultimate owner is going to be looking, do I want to come to him? So for the developer to go ahead with a project, he's got to present whomever the people are, the investors or the finance people, do they have a viable product that they're gonna be able to market.
No, I agree with you. I think we should do more tax incentives. It's available. It's a little bit of work, but I think it's worthwhile.
Do you think the reclassification of that tool plant land as a flood zone now will impact the development of it, potentially impact the development of it?
You talking the gear plant site?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it will impact it at all.
Another thing, you have to make the streets safe. A lot of people don't want to come to Lynn because it's not safe. And, you know, we have a lot of, I work at my brother's table at volunteer here. So, I mean, I see some of the people that come in, and I see some of the fights that go on. And well, sometimes you hate to walk to the parking lot because you don't know who's going to be outside. So, even though it's near the police station, you still have to clean up the streets.
Well, I think that the number one factor is public safety, right? Because no matter what you have, if people don't feel safe, they won't come. So we agree with you. I think we have a great police department. I think they work very hard. If you talk to the folks that live in downtown, in the restaurants that are there that are successful, I think that they would tell you that their customers feel safe, and I think the residents that live in downtown feel safe.
But you've had the introduction to the city of Lynn. We're mocked and laughed at so many times. The bridge is falling apart, corroded cement. It's just disgraceful. I mentioned it at this last meeting you had, and nothing's ever been done. And I know it's MDC. The General Edwards Bridge is a disgrace. Now that's your introduction to the city. Is that how you introduce people?
Me personally, no. Yeah, that's state-owned. I remember
Well, something should be done. You should put they're always fixing and fixing and fixing underneath and the top. The cement and the surface, it's falling apart. It's disgusting. I mean, they put automatic cement things and everything that you can pick up. And what is it to put a form there and it's just disgraceful.
I know that the state, their wheels move very slow. My name's Wayne Losey, I'm the Ward 1 counselor. And the other area of Lynn, the gateway, is Wyoming Square. And the state is in the midst currently of a $5 million bond. It's going to be all new roadway, curbing, sidewalks, trees, beautification, utilities, all the way down to Flax Pond.
But they got 20 million going into the State House, they got 9 million going into the mayor's office, and we're getting nothing.
I don't know about the 9 million in the
Yeah,
mayor's
yeah,
office.
well,
Governor.
interesting. I'd like to see,
Oh, the governor's, okay. Yeah, that's, but I'm looking at it from a positive perspective. And I do know that those bonds take a long time.
But you know how long that bridge has been there? Where would we be without the bridge?
I know.
And it's so important.
It
And it's
is.
still ignored by everyone.
Well, I don't think it's ignored. I think it's being worked on. I've been told that.
They're only working on it for safety. They're not working on it for anything else.
I
went around with fancy
believe
lights.
there is a bond in the works for
When's
that
that
bridge.
coming down? Another 20 years?
No, but it won't be overnight. But
Well,
in any
if you
event, I'm
want
really happy with
you want an
Wyoming Square.
introduction to the city, you want to be inviting, you want to be.
And that's why I'm thrilled with Wyoming Square. There's over $5 million there, and just in the past few years, there was almost another $1 million on Flax Pond. It's beautiful. I hear a lot of compliments, and I'm thrilled with where we're headed. And I hear what you're saying. I don't want to beat a
You
dead
got to
horse.
get them into the city.
Right.
You got to be invited.
The other thing they're doing is they're doing the Saugus Bridge. They've been working on that for quite a while. It's been slow, but that's costing them a fortune. And I think the focus is going to be on the bond for the GE Bridge, and off the Windway. And they're still working on. They built a temporary bridge in Saugus, and that took 2 or 3 years, maybe longer. And now they're working on repairing the permanent bridge, and that will, put the focus back on the GE Bridge.
And Marge, I know you're frustrated with the state, as we are many times when it comes to repairs, but if we can get that 60 acres, which is under P&S, if we can get that sold and developed, when you come over that bridge, you're going to see a high-rise with people living there. You'll see a first floor where people can shop. You'll see a marina there, and you'll see a train that stops, would pick people up, that live right there, it will change that entire area.
What happened to the other side, McGrath and all the other people?
Yeah, that was part of the presentation. Joe O'Donnell was the principal owner, and he is the principal owner of Suffolk Downs. So he pulled the marketing on that site because he's waiting to see what happens at Suffolk Downs because he's the owner there.
So you know,
I'm sorry?
so you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, we work with them very closely. So he's waiting to see if he gets the casino there, then I think he's building a hotel on that site. So we're waiting to see.
Everybody's looking to line up with casino and everything, they're looking for themselves, they're not looking for the city. We're looking to play, I mean, I'm a heavy taxman.
Yep.
I mean, people spend $85,000 to $90,000 for property, and you know, when you're not exactly a cheap place, like the gentleman said, it's absolutely right, you're scared of life.
Any other questions?
You know, I will add something. The state will show more focus on the city of Lynn once all these developments come up. When we create markets and when we open up markets to Boston and Gateway to the North Shore, I think the state will show more of a focus in Lynn, fixing up operators. When we create a market and we have thousands of people pumping into the Linway, the state is really the hands will be tied and have to be forced, actually, to begin investing in the city of Lynn. We have to bring the people here, and then the state will come and invest also. That's how it kind of works. So I think some of these zoning changes that we've done in downtown, which you'll see in movie theater go up again. Some of the zoning changes that Jim talked about on Linway, I think it'll spur that economic growth. And in downtown, that Brendan Crichton made those suggestions, it's going to spur development, research and development for the first time in the history of Lynn. Buildings now will be able to be built 10 stories and above to enhance economic development. So I think those changes that are, it's a whirlwind. I don't want to use tornado. It's a whirlwind, and I think it's all moving pretty fast, and I think Lynn is in line with the economy this time, and it's turning properly. So this is for the first time in my generation.
Just to chime in too quickly, I came in a little bit late, so I don't want to speak out of school, but in terms of the state's investment in the city, I mean, look at everything that's happened in the past 10 years. The power lines, state investment. Seaport Marine, state investment. An auditorium, state investment. Water ferry, state investment. Really, everything that, I mean, every project we've undertaken has had a state partnership with it. And I think when you talk to officials from the state, when you talk to the governor's office, Lynn is on their radar. I mean, even the studies to look at the waterfront funded through the state. So this is certainly something we're aware of. In terms of the transportation, you know, there was a huge shortfall in revenue for many, many years to get these projects done. 16 years underfunded, really no investment in transportation. We're changing that around, and I think we're making a lot of progress. So I think Lynn's on their radar, and I think they'll continue to be until we reach out for the country.
Anything else? I want to thank everybody for coming. You know, hopefully we'll do this more from time to time. People have questions. People haven't signed in. If you want to sign in, so we have the number, we can contact
Mr. Chairman, thank you again for putting on this meeting. We took a serious look at zoning of the downtown over the past few months, and really looking to build off the success and momentum that we were able to build. Had a strong partnership with the Lynn Business Partnership, the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce, the North Shore Latino Business Association, really stakeholders at all different levels. Looking to continue that and move on to another area of the city. I think one that you can all agree what's in place now is not working. Along the Boston Street corridor, really going from Stop and Shop all the way down towards Flax Pond. If you drive down the area, you'll see a number of vacant buildings, fallen businesses that have failed and we've yet to replace them, and also some serious traffic issues down towards the Stop and Shop. So it's a heavily traveled corridor, one represented by both the Ward 5 Council, Diane Chakutis, and the Ward 1 Council, Wayne Losey. And really, the three of us, I imagine, the whole city council is interested in pursuing this. And I think one of the things that is different about this area compared to the downtown or even to the waterfront is that it hasn't really been looked at in detail in recent years. We had a number of studies, master plans that we could base our zoning update off of the downtown. We don't really have that for this. So one of the proposals is to take a look at having an outside entity, a consultant, have a study on there, present us with its findings, and then have the council, along with the city and other stakeholders, consider a public option. So, I don't know if Wayne or Diane, you have anything to add?
No, you summarized it pretty much, Council Creighton. It's long overdue, as you pointed out. We've made great strides with downtown Lynn and along the waterfront, and this is another small area that has a lot of ancient zoning that could stand to use a review, and I think that's where we're headed with this. I think we need to seek the funding from whatever sources might be available and move forward.
So I think we have a few folks at the table with experience in these types of studies. We have Charlie Gator from the Housing Authority Neighborhood Development, Jim Cowdell from the EDIC, and spoke with Jamie Marshall, who was tied up, but I think those three entities, I guess we ask you guys your thoughts and if you're able to help us in terms of looking for a study to examine this.
Yes, sir. We're here, myself and Peggy Phelps, who we assume is a lot of our planning down at the Housing Authority. And she put together something very visual, and I apologize, I don't have 5 copies, but and when you look through this zoning, just for that very small piece of, the small area, it's hard to follow. It's crazy. I mean, it's so outdated, and there's no consistency whatsoever. So, we're willing to put staff time to Peggy and along with Jeff Wheaton from our staff, Jim and his staff, and to work with Mike and the chairman of the business partnership, whoever. But I think we should get on this because there's a lot of vacancies there. It looks like there'll be a lot of activity there. And, again, we're here to support any way that we can, and I assume some of it may be financial. We also talked about the group, the organization that helped with the downtown. Jeff, you worked with them. MAPC, whether you want to go that route or not. We were even thinking that we haven't done a housing market study in Lynn for a long time because of the cost. And it might be a great opportunity, believe me. It's a real tight market out there, that we may piggyback on that, this particular study with our own. And, we want to work with you. You give us the direction that you want, and, what is the lead agency on it, we'd be glad to participate.
Thank you.
To echo Charlie, and we've talked quite a bit about this, one of the lessons that I learned back in the early 2000s, Charlie was involved and Mike Donovan was involved. When we did the rezoning in downtown, it was an inclusive process, and when it was done, everybody felt like they had ownership to it, whether they were residents or business owners or the chamber or partnership, everybody had input. So, and I know that I talked to you that's what you're looking to do. So when you say hire a consultant, whether it's what Charlie is suggesting, MAPC, or whether it's a Sasaki or whomever, what they do is they coordinate it, and they have all kinds of public meetings. And so I think that in talking to you, that's a successful formula. You get from the business community, the residents, the elected officials, and then you get a final product that everybody is bought into. So to echo what Charlie says, whatever EDIC can do to help you do it, if you need financial support, we do that as well.
I really appreciate the support. In terms of timeline, obviously I'd like to get this going as quick as possible, so maybe we can have some follow-up meetings to discuss. I guess there are a number of other folks in the room. I don't know, Mike Donovan at the top of the chamber, or any of the other folks have any comments to add?
Yeah, just my question to you, I mean, it seems like Metropolitan Planning Council's done a great job in downtown, and that relationship with the city and, and the business entities have worked. We would really like to recommend that try to continue working on the Boston Street site as well, because I think it's the formula that's been working, and I think everybody that's been involved in the process are very happy with working with the work of that Metropolitan Planning Council.
I appreciate that, Todd. In our initial conversations with them, it seemed that they wanted to keep their focus on the downtown, at least for the technical assistance grant we received recently. We can touch base with them again to see if they're willing to. And they have other grants and things that are available that maybe could tie into this as well. But they certainly did great work. If you look at their final report in downtown, their recommendations are largely incorporated into the zoning.
The overall intent of the Boston Street corridor in our discussions, the chamber has been fully aware of what's been going on, and we're in full support.
Mike, I don't know if you probably have as much history as anybody with the zoning down there. Has this been tried before down there? Is there any?
This is my knowledge, nothing's been done. The zoning designations and standards that have been since 1926. Nothing, before my time, but after the shoot back all burned down, it's become a business corridor, and through special permit, all shoot, and that is administered for businesses. It is definitely not changed.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if we need to take a motion.
I just want one comment. If you got a consultant to look at that, which I think is a great idea, would it be a good idea, or should we talk about using a consultant for the other parts of the city, like the industrial part of the city also, rather than go to them twice? I'm talking about like GE or Venice, where there's a lot of heavy industrial lighting, we need a permit for a light industrial business, even though it's zoned for heavy industrial, confusing. I don't know if that would hold up, moving on the Boston Street corridor, or if it would be a wise thing to do, or if it would be a good idea to combine both of those areas. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I think we talked before the importance of maintaining, or at least even look at again, the industrial areas of the city, not excluding that from our overall mission in the city. So I don't know if the time, my only concern would be the time. I think the phase structure might work better, but let's talk more about it.
We could do it in phases, and we would do this, and then with the understanding that they would do that next.
Yeah, no, I think we need to take it seriously.
Yeah. So do we need a motion?
So I make friendly motions to ask EDIC, Lynn Housing Authority, Development, as well as Community Development, to coordinate and hire or look into hiring a consultant to study the Boston Street corridor.
I'll say.
All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I really appreciate you adding this to the agenda.
Anything else? So moved. Okay. Second. All in favor?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thanks to everybody for coming.